Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm Tony.
I'm Kendall.
And we are going to talk about living in Thailand. So we have been living in Thailand now for 2.5 years. And we're going to answer some of the questions that we've received from our subscribers over the past 2.5 years. And the first one we're going to talk about is, do we have any regrets about moving from the United States to Thailand? I'll let you start.
Yeah, I don't have any regrets. I know at first, so we moved here during COVID. It was like April 2021 when we got to Chiang Mai and everything was closed down. So it was tough. I mean, you're getting into a new country, you're trying to meet people, nobody's out, restaurants are closed. That was difficult, and I think it made it take longer for me to feel like this was home because of that, but I don't have any regrets. I love living here.
So how long would you say it did take you before you felt like this was home?
Given the COVID situation, probably a year, but normally I would say it probably would have only taken about 6 months.
Right. Yeah, it was a little bit rough at the beginning, that's for sure. Another question we've had is, what things have we had to get used to while living here in Thailand?
Yeah, things that may be different from the U.S.
So I'll let you start this one again.
Yeah, I think that one of the kind of funny things that we're used to now is waking up to lizard poop every morning.
There's poop everywhere.
Everywhere. And they're geckos. They're not really lizards. And most of them are pretty small, but boy, they can sure produce a lot of poop.
They get in your house. I have no idea how, but then they just decide to poop randomly.
Yeah.
And
kitchen counters, the floor, sofas.
Electronics, your printer, I mean, just anything, your keyboard. Yeah, so one of the things we had to get used to is waking up in the morning and cleaning lizard poop.
Another thing that, coming from the United States, we had to get used to the metric system. So that's very different for us. You know, everything's like kilometers per hour, grams, all that kind of stuff was a little difficult to get used to. Celsius. Some of the things I still struggle with a little bit, but I think it's a lot better now.
Now we're to the point where it seems weird to hear things like miles per hour instead of kilometers per hour.
Another thing that we've had to contend with here is it's hot, so you're going to do more laundry. So whereas you may have only had gone through one set of clothing in a day, here you go out in the morning, you're sweating to death, you come back at lunchtime, you change shirt. Then maybe in the evening, you change shirt again, maybe your shorts. So you're producing more laundry than we did when we lived in the United States.
Another thing that's a little bit different, and you'll get used to it after a while and not even notice it, is dogs just running around randomly everywhere, otherwise known as soy dogs.
Which means street.
Yeah, we've had no issues with soy dogs. I mean, if they do come up to us when we're walking our dogs are so small, we just pick them up. They never growled and have been aggressive. Usually those are other dogs that are on a leash. But yeah, as far as soy dogs go, they haven't been much of a problem. Although, obviously that varies per dog and where you're at and everything else.
And you don't want to try to go up and pet one. I mean,
no.
You just don't want to, just leave them be.
Just leave them alone. Another thing I would say is, a lot of times you go into these cafes here in Thailand and they have these slices of cake.
They have like a display case.
Right, or cheesecake, and it looks so good. Yeah. And then you order it, and I'm going to call this ordering sweets that aren't sweet. It almost tastes like there's no sugar in it. It's really a downer. It's something that you'll get used to here.
And it's healthier, I'm sure.
I've made the mistake at least 10 times over 2.5 years. Every time I hold out that it's going to be good, and it isn't. Another thing is that there's a lot of holidays here in Thailand, and they always seem to fall on the days you need a government office or a bank for some reason. There's a holiday. If you don't believe me, do a Google search for Thai holidays. You could see how many holidays there are.
Also in Thailand, most homes have an outdoor kitchen. Not all of them, but the reason being is because it's so hot and a lot of Thais don't use air conditioning. So they have like the stove outside, any cooking things outside, but that's something to get used to. And of course, those have even more lizard poop on them because they're outside and bugs, but yeah, it's kind of nice to keep the heat outside.
Another question we receive is, how are we dealing with the language barrier? Well, I'm taking Thai classes, and it's been about 1 year and 4 months now. So my Thai is coming along. I'm nowhere near proficient in having just a conversation, but I can usually get my point across or understand what they're trying to say to me. Kendall is not in Thai classes, but she's learning a lot from me.
Yeah, and the other thing I've found is, since I'm not as proficient in Thai as him, in Chiang Mai, a lot of people can speak English, so I'm better off starting out with English. That way they don't have expectations that I can speak Thai. And it usually goes really well. And if necessary, I bring out Google Translate, and that seems to work okay too.
Yeah, something irritating that happens all the time. We go up to the gas station and I'm going to practice my Thai, right? So I say everything in Thai and they don't understand me. And then Kendall's like, can you fill it up full tank, please? And then they understand her. So kind of annoying. But anyway, you're going to do fine whether you do or do not speak Thai, assuming you're living where they're used to having tourists and foreigners.
Another thing we get asked is, what do we miss the most about the United States, since that's where we're from? And I would have to say friends and family. Now, you can keep up with them. We make, a lot of phone calls, a lot of texts, video chats, which is wonderful, but nothing beats just being able to be with your family and be with your friends. So I would say to me, that's the hardest.
I miss family as well, but I'm just going to throw in things like some candy choices that we're used to. You go into 7-Eleven and their choices of candy, they got some, of course, you've never heard of before, some you have heard of before, but the selection's small. I kind of like a bigger selection. So that's the little thing I miss. Plus soft drinks. Here you only have like 3 or 4 to pick from, where, back home you've got a lot. But those are things I don't need to be having anyway.
True.
So if that's all I got to miss, then we're doing okay.
And the other thing is, if there's something that you realize that you need to have here, if you know of somebody coming to the area of Thailand you're living in, or if you have family coming, just have them throw it in the suitcase. Order it on Amazon, have it shipped to their house. Or when we go back to visit, we take an extra suitcase, have the Amazon go to a friend's house, and we just bring it back with us. The next one we get is, we brought our 2 dogs from the U.S. We have a Jack Russell Terrier and a long-haired mini dachshund. So they're smaller dogs, but they have adjusted so well. I would say that they enjoy it here more than they did where we lived in the U.S. They love the weather. They'll come outside, flop over in the sun, and just soak up the sun, which, it's hot. I'm just surprised how much they enjoy it. But everything here, we have a good groomer for them, good vet care, pet stores. We moved into a neighborhood recently where there are no soy dogs. So our dog Lucy, that didn't like walking at the other places, she'll actually walk here. She's the mini dachshund. So we take them on walks. Now, they really have a good quality of life here.
And our Jack Russell's turned into a lizard hunter.
Oh yeah,
which is
I hate
good.
That, but well,
Yeah.
he sure
Good and
has to
bad.
play with them, but they don't like to play.
Another thing we get is, after 2.5 years, what is the one thing we don't like about Thailand? And that's an easy one. That's just going to be the smoky season, and that happens in April and March and April. Yeah,
especially
March and
in the
April.
north where we live.
Yes. So try to avoid traveling here if you're only coming here for a short time in the month of March and April. Not only is it extremely hot that time of year, but then you've got the smoke, and the smoke is from where the farmers all around in the jungles are burning their fields. It's happening in the neighboring countries as well. All that stuff just starts to float up into the sky, and you lose your blue sky, you lose the sky in general is just gray.
Kind of stay inside with the air purifiers as much as you can.
Yep. So that would be the one thing that is not so great about Thailand.
And for me, the heat, which, we came from South Carolina. It got hot in the summer, but you have the cold weather in the winter. You don't get the cold here unless you go up in the mountains in the cooler season here. So, it's hot and you're sweating, and that added to the laundry and everything else. But you do get used to it, but you're sweating a lot.
Okay, and the last one we have for you is, would we do it all over again? I'll let you take this one.
Yeah, we would. We definitely would. It's kind of nice knowing what we know now. If we would have known it back then, it would have saved us from bringing a lot of clothes in our suitcases, different things that we wish we would have known then. But yeah, I wouldn't hesitate to do it all over again.
So just to tell you a little bit more about our channel before you go, so we give all the tips, tricks, and show you the sites and everything. If we would have had this information ahead of time, it would have been awesome. Yeah. We had to learn everything the hard way. So if you are planning on moving or just traveling here to Thailand, take a look around the videos that we've done. More than likely, it's going to answer some of the questions you may have about moving here to Thailand.
But if you do still have other questions, if you go on our Buy Me a Coffee link that's in the description, there is a one-on-one session that you can do with Tony for an hour, and you can ask any questions you have. He can share things with you. And, if you're coming here, that might be a good way to get questions answered that are just really on your mind.
So we also do appreciate you watching. If you
Yes.
like the video, please like the video. If you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing and check out our merchandise store. There's a link down in the description where we have all kinds of shirts about Thailand. Thank you for watching, and until next time, we're going to say thank you in Thai, which is Kap Kun Kap.